Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at?
Well, actually, I live in Delaware now, so does that make me a Delawarean?
Sing it, girl.
You know, Beyonce is my friend in my head. They my people sometimes, too.
Yeah. I mean, like, be true, man.
You know, when I was a kid, I had an imaginary enemy. Like, does that make me crazy?
Life as P, presented by Say What Radio.
Hey y'all, what's up? Yo, if this is your first time listening, thank you so much for joining me, particularly with everything that's going on. I appreciate you being interested in anything that anybody has to say right now. If you're a repeat listener, thank you so much for still rocking out with me. I appreciate it. I appreciate the whole platform and the ability to get certain things off my chest. I'm about to eat this good old ice cream right now too, because I'm an ice cream fiend, and this whole COVID thing got me all up in my ice cream. But I just really been having a lot of thoughts. Oh, I'm your host, Phoenix Ash. So look, I'm just like losing my mind. Can't even tell you who I am. I'm your host, Phoenix Ash. I'm an author, screenwriter, speaker, obviously a podcast host, all those things. I'm just using my voice to share my opinions, my journey. Been going through several different steps in pursuing my dreams, pursuing my passions. And if you've listened to this show from the beginning, you've realized that it has evolved from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, because that's how the journey happens. It's not consistent for me. It didn't start off the way it's looking like right now. And I'm grateful for that, because when I first started this show, I had no idea what I wanted to say. And now when I start the show, I think to myself, like, what has been my pattern? What has been the thing that has stuck out to me? What does the universe seem to be saying to me right now? And I'm looking at things on my timeline, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, IG. And by the way, I'm at P Writes on Instagram, at P Writes on Twitter, Phoenix Ash on Facebook. I'd give you the Snapchat, but if you've heard this show before, you know I really don't remember what it is. So I'm just really tired. So I don't even know if I'm going to look it up today. But anywho, I've been thinking about all these things I've been seeing on my timeline. And there's been a lot of people who've talking about sending messages to their ex. Even I, on occasion, have reached out to someone who I was friends with in the past to say, hey, just thinking about you. Haven't heard from you in a while. I hope everything's okay with you and your family. When I think about that, and I think about the things that I'm going through in terms of being separated and heading forward to divorce, I think about the behaviors and the experiences that not even in a pandemic should I be running back to. There's some things that once you've made a decision to go in another direction and you've decided to be healthy, whether it be mentally, physically, spiritually, in your heart, emotionally, like not even in a pandemic. And I'm curious that, do you have those things? For the person who started a new business, it was scary enough to step out on that ledge. And I totally understand that the situation that's going on, particularly in the United States, can really ruin an independent business. If your business is reliant upon going out and connecting to people and sitting with people, talking with people, getting those contacts door to door, getting those contacts personally, you are the type of person who, when people see you, when people talk to you, connect with you, they smile, they instantly decide to buy into your business. So maybe they take their time, but eventually buy into your business. And maybe social media is not your thing. What we're going through right now could be very difficult for you. There's a lot of people that I know who are hairstylists or barbers. Their bread and butter comes from clientele that they see on a regular basis. This whole situation could make you decide that your business has failed, that your passion is no longer worth pursuing. It was a mistake all of those things. And I just don't believe that that's necessarily true. I left corporate a couple years ago to pursue writing full time. I kind of knew that it was going to be a rough journey where it wasn't going to magically fund my whole life, and that at one point I would have to go back to working for another business in order to sustain myself. And I've been in and out. I've done, corporate contracts, and I've done retail and just in and out. And even as I speak, I work for a company now, and I'm actually grateful that I do, because when I was writing full time, although I was able to make enough money to stretch the budget that I had to pay my bills, to contribute to my portion in the household, I wasn't covering my health insurance. So I am grateful because, if you've listened to my show last week or the last show, everything's blended. You know that I've come to the realization that the plan needs to be tightened up, particularly when it comes to the realm of health insurance, and making sure that when I say 100% funding my life based upon my passion, that it includes health insurance. I mean, it needs to include health insurance, life insurance, home insurance, but 100% looks different now. For some people, you've had the foresight, you've had the good sense, the good planning sense, you've gotten a financial advisor, all those things. When you launched your business, you were completely focused and did your research, and kudos to you, for real, for real. But sometimes when you're following your passion and you're following a gut instinct, or you're trying to see where something goes, or something popped off for you and you made some money and realized that you could replace your income with this, but you didn't necessarily take all the steps that was required had you been focused, or had this been your plan all along. It looks different. So I am grateful to be working where I have insurance, health insurance. However, the place that I work, I'm considered essential. So there's that balance. I don't have the luxury of saying, I'm going to work from home today, or I'm going to work from home this week, or for a few weeks. I have to go in, and I have to balance that, because there's people in my life who would be like, well, with everything that's going on, you just going to have to put that on the line and protect yourself. And I totally hear where they're coming from. But at the same time, I'm like, but that health insurance, though, that's protected me too. Because when I was unemployed, I had to fight for Medicaid. I had to fight for months to get them, not just for me, but for my daughter. I had to fight for them to approve us for Medicaid, so much so that by the time we got it, they couldn't even backdate it to when I first applied, because I had applied the year before. And it was just like, well, we might as well start it back in January. I'm not interested in fighting for that, particularly in this time. What I'm interested in is keeping what I have, because I have great coverage for both my daughter and I. And when I plan to be 100% funded again by writing, that I have a plan that includes health insurance. That's a deal breaker at this point. Like, I need health insurance. And so if I had to work reduced hours or reduced stress jobs while focusing on my writing career just to keep health insurance, that makes sense to me. I say all that to say is that the pursuing of the passion, the starting of the business, none of that is necessarily a mistake. Like, don't get twisted in the whole situation and think that because you experiencing a loss in income, or just when you started, things just went south and how you maintain a business has to change. Either, hopefully, it's some kind of thing that you can morph into something that can work online for you. I really hope that for you. But if it's not, understand that this situation is temporary. It may change how we do business. It may change how we interact with each other in the future. But then that just means that your business model has to change a bit. That you have to figure out how to adapt the business model to what is going on in the world. Because it doesn't mean that you received this gift, you received this vision for nothing. It doesn't make it a waste. It just may stretch you and stretch your imagination. And might you have to go back to working for a company in order to refund or in order to replenish the stack that has your business running? Though you may have to go back to other means of employment temporarily in order to get back on your feet or even to secure health insurance, it does not mean that what you envision for yourself is not worthy of pursuing. This just may be your opportunity to reimagine how that thing works. Now, for some people, it might be the maturation of the vision being that like you've done all you can do with it and here you receive a new vision to do something else and to pursue something else. I'm not saying those situations don't exist, but for those who are panicking and totally distraught about not being able to continue business as usual, I urge you to reimagine this because even in relationships, you know, I talked about going through separation and heading for divorce, and even this pandemic don't got me changing my mind on that. You have a lot of people, like I said, reaching out to exes and ex situations, either out of boredom or out of fear that what they envision for themselves or the life that they envision for themselves going forward is no longer possible. So I might as well go back to what I know, or I might as well go back to that situation because it doesn't look like there'll be a new situation for me. There's just some things that you have to give time for either a new vision to appear or to reimagine the ways in which you can bring your current vision to fruition. When I tell you this, I'm not just telling you this as like I know so damn much and I'm giving you so much damn advice. It's not even that. When I tell you this, it's because of yanking out notes to myself. Some friendships, I ain't gonna lie, I was the toxic one. So when I reach out and I'm like, hey, how you doing? How's your life? And the person doesn't reply, it's a reminder to me that I was the toxic one. And although that wasn't a bad situation for me, it wasn't a great situation for them. And I pat you on the back for not even letting a situation like this force you back into a friendship, a relationship, a business relationship, a business situation, whatever. Not letting something like this, because honestly, we've been as a country in panic mode for just a couple weeks. I know it feels like a long time and it feels like, oh my God, it's been 21 days, 30 something days, whatever. But the country itself, in terms of like the panic mode and shutting everything down and you having to wear masks to go to the store. And we've only been like this for a few weeks. So kudos to you if you recognize the temporary situation, even if it changes how business is done going forward, but understanding that it doesn't imply that you have to run back into old toxic situations, old situations that you had long ago deemed unnecessary and unhealthy and not part of the vision for your life because, oh, the world's burning. I don't think anything that I see for myself is going to come into fruition. Some of those things I had to let go and be like, you know what? Let me fully let go of this friendship. Let me fully accept that this is something in the past. You know, people reaching out to me. Let me fully let that shit go. There's all kind of dumb stuff jumping off in my inbox and all of that you just want to have a conversation with somebody, but you know, boredom or just too much time on your hands will make you have a conversation that's not necessary. Not necessary. It'll make you have a conversation with yourself that's not necessary. Have you thinking that nothing that you saw for your life is possible and that there is no better way, but then to go back to those old toxic situations or those old things that you were like, yo, I'm going to leave behind, that have you out here dejected and thinking that, you know, it's over for me. I started this business, or I know people who was making so much money braiding hair that they could have left their job 3 times over, but braiding hair wasn't giving them their health insurance. So they're worried. And they're like, oh my God, I was so independent. I was able to do blah, 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 blah. It just means you have to reimagine how to do it. Might you have to go someplace to work in order to build up your stack again, cool. You just got to build up your stack differently or add to the stack, because you know that when you go back to doing that entrepreneurial business, or that you live 100% off your passion, off your love and all of that stuff, that you include stuff like health insurance and life insurance and things that are going to secure you in this type of time. There's so many people worried about their financial situation or the money that they invested in stocks, people who aggressively invest in stocks. I'm old school, so I definitely follow the model that when you're younger, you can be more aggressive in stocks because you have the timeline to ride it out. Whereas if you're closer to retirement, you need to invest less risky stocks and start to transition your money out of the market because you don't have time to ride it. So I feel like if you follow that model, this may not necessarily be such a panicky time for you. Now, if you was like, I'm going to ride it till the wheels fall off, and even though I'm 2 years away from retirement, I'm going to still be aggressive because I've made so much money in the last year or so, or the last 2 years, the stock is a gamble. So I don't know. It's kind of like when I go to Atlantic City or when I go to a casino, Vegas, whatever. When I go, I have a budget of money that I expect to, like, I'm okay with losing. Not I expect to lose, but I'm okay with losing. So, like, here's the money for my trip. If I don't come back home with this was the money for my trip. Now, if I come back home with it, great. Even better if I doubled it, tripled it, or whatever. But this was the money that I planned for my trip that if I don't come back home with, I'm okay. Because this is how I plan to budget, how I enjoy myself. I kind of feel like that is my approach to stocks as well. Like, anything can make the market crash. And I don't know enough about the market to be able to predict the crash. That's why that's not my job. My hope is that you are in a situation where you don't have to run and take the L right now in order to stay afloat. That with things dipping down, you have enough time to ride the wave and get some of that back. Because I got stocks that plummeted. I ain't even looking at them. I'm going to let that joint ride. I'll let it ride. I have to. Because at the end of the day, I can't do nothing about it. Like, I can't make it not dip. I can't. But what I know I can control is the panic in my own heart and life and thinking that my vision wasn't worth coming to fruition, that I somehow made a mistake in pursuing what it is that made me happy, that I somehow made a wrong turn by trying to flesh out the situations that no longer served me and put them to the side and step out of those comfort zones to build the life that I envision for myself. That's not a mistake. And what we're going through right now as a community, as a country, as this global pandemic takes shape and form, none of it means that pursuing your passion, pursuing your vision is a mistake. Pursue it, reimagine it, think about it, plan, plot, strategize. If that's not your thing, get with somebody whose thing it is and get help, plot and plan and strategize and reimagine. Think about it. What are the other ways? Figure out a way, make it all worth it. There's a couple of publishing companies that went through a hard time with getting a lot of their books removed from Amazon. And I don't follow the situation close enough to know if that was resolved for them or if that's still the situation. And I'm sure the people running that company went through times where they doubted whether they should have pursued the vision of their company. And maybe they did wrong. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I don't know those people. I don't know them well. There's always going to be rumors on either side of how a situation is unfolding. And this pandemic could be worsening their situation. But whoever they are, I feel like, as true vision people, if it was truly your vision, if it was truly your call to be entrepreneurs in either that industry or some other, you'd reimagine it and figure out a way. You have to reinvent the vision sometimes. Sometimes the vision is what it is, but we think like it just comes to us this one way, but we as creators have the ability to mold the pieces of it. We have the ability to select the tools that help us bring things into fruition. We have the ability to dip into our experiences, our know-how, our network, our friends, our community. We have the ability to dip into those pools of resources and select different tools, or to sharpen different tools. We have the ability to have discussions with other people and bounce ideas off of other people to see how we can morph this vision. You'd be surprised with the things that you come out with, knowing that you do not have to take total hold over an old situation in order to get through life. Now, you may take hold of some situations that can get through this time, and that's fine, but that doesn't say abandon the vision. I would hate to see people abandoning what was given to them as a vision, as a passion to fulfill their life. The thing that fills you, the thing that makes your life worth living. Don't let this temporary situation force you to give up on that. Don't run back to the life that had you running away in the first place. That's basically my point, that this situation can panic you into thinking that you have to run back to something that you ran away from, that hurt you so bad or confused you so bad or left you so unfulfilled that you had to take a leap. You had to do something else. You had to chase something else. I honestly don't think you have to run back. Anyway, that's my spiel for today. I hope that it was helpful to you. I hope that it opened some discussions in your own life. If you want to get at me, you want to talk about anything, look, we all bored. We all want to talk to somebody. Feel free. Hit me up. My inbox is open. Apparently, people know this because some stuff. But yeah, hit me up. I'm at P Writes on Instagram. I'm at P Writes on Twitter. Phoenix Dash on Facebook and in Facebook Messenger. Please don't show me your private parts. But word. But yeah, hit me up. Let's talk. You know what's going on with you. You want to join my reader group? I have a reader group on Facebook. It's called Phoenix Fireflies. Then that's FIYAH for fire. Hit me up. Let's talk about it. You want some books to read? Let me know that too. I actually have paper books of Delectable. So Delectable, A Sweet Romance, has been popping off. I feel like it's my best-selling book thus far. Go me. But I have paperbacks. If you have the Kindle app or if you have a Kindle, definitely download it from Amazon. I think that you'll totally enjoy it. If you're home quarantined, if you're bored, if you're just feeling like you need an escape, it's definitely a great read for this time. It's a sweet romance indeed. It will make you feel so good in a couple of ways. But yeah, great book, I must say. Also, my book Soil Sheets and my book Cookies and Crumbles, they're both available on Amazon Kindle as well as Amazon paperbacks. I have those too. If you want signed copies and you want to hit me up and like, yo, I want to buy directly from you, you can go to my website at passionmedia.com. You can hit me up in the inbox. We can talk about it. You want a Cash App? You can do that too. My Cash App is Phoenix Writes. We can do all kinds of stuff to get you through this time. I have a new book on the way, a couple of new books on the way. I have like 4 works in progress. So trust me, a new book is on the way very shortly. I also have In Her Makeup. In Her Makeup was my first full-length novel. It's available on Amazon Books, Kindle, as well as audiobooks. So if you're an Audible listener, it's definitely available. In Her Makeup by Phoenix Dash is available on Audible as well as Apple Books. So if you want to multitask and listen to a book be read to you while you wash the dishes or do the laundry or whatever, clean your house, yeah, do that. Word up. If you have endeavors, if you have your own book that you want me to read, that you want my opinion on, that you want to review, whatever, hit me up in my inbox. If I can find the time, I definitely will give you my time. I've been leaving a lot of reviews lately, been reading a lot lately because the way that my time is being portioned has changed quite a bit. And I'm trying to manage that. And honestly, through some lulls, I don't necessarily have the opportunity to write, but I do have the opportunity to read. And I'm more than interested in reading other people's work and supporting other people's visions and dreams so that they too can keep going. That is all. Thank you so much for joining me. Until the next time when we could exchange power, I love you guys. Peace.